Alrighty. Welcome to the Mapping Out Your UCEAP application webinar. My name is Samantha Jewell. I'm a study abroad advisor with UCEAP, and joining me today is Jocelyn Juarez, who is also a study abroad advisor. And like I said, we'll be recording this session, and it will be posted later on the UCEAP website. Let's see. Wanted to wait a little longer for everyone to join, but I think we have everyone here. So we can move on now. So here's a brief agenda of what we're going to be going over today. So we'll go over the general UCEAP application information for all UCEAP programs, information about the documents that you'll need to upload into your application, an overview of the process and kind of the UCEAP application flow, who to contact and where to find their contact information if you have any questions, and some frequently asked questions. We also will have a Q&A time at the end, so you can hold any of your questions until the end there, and we'll go over them then. Yeah.
Okay, so here's some general application information. So applications for each term open on the same day. For summer 2026, that's going to be on November 13th. And for fall and year 2026-27, that'll be on November 20th. So just remember, however, that the application deadlines vary by program. So even though the applications open on the same day, all the programs have different deadlines. And we will show you the application open dates and deadlines page later on in the presentation. Our programs are open for applications until filled or until the application deadline, whichever comes first. And UCEAP reviews applications on a first come, first served basis. So it's super important that you try to submit your application as soon as the application opens. It's always better to submit earlier rather than later, as this gives you a better chance at receiving a spot in the program that you want to go on. And as long as there is space available and you meet all of the program eligibility requirements and deadlines, you should be cleared to participate. Lastly, most requirements must be met by the time you apply and have to be maintained throughout the application process. And we are going to go over how to determine your eligibility on the next slide. So determining your eligibility for a program. First, you're going to need to find the program page on the UCEAP website. And you can do this by navigating to the Find a Program search tool in the upper right-hand corner of the main page. Each program is going to list its general eligibility requirements on its title page. So you can see we have a screenshot right here. We're using human rights and cultural memory as an example, but as you can see, they have a minimum 2.5 GPA. Class level would be sophomore, junior, or senior. And then you can also see what language the program is taught in and if there's a language prerequisite. And for more detailed descriptions of the eligibility and possible prerequisite course requirements or things like that, you would need to click on the program page, go to the dates and eligibility tab, and click on the term that you wish to apply for. So again, here are some more examples on the slide. You can see the dates and eligibility tab. That's going to be under all program pages on the left-hand side. And then once you expand the term that you want to go on, you'll be able to see the full overview of the eligibility requirements. And you'll also see more information about eligible majors, if there are language prerequisites or course prerequisites, that'll all be included in that section right there.
Yeah, and so some of the documents that you'll need for your application. All UCEAP programs require students to upload an unofficial UC transcript to their application. If you are a transfer student or you have a community college transcript or a previous college transcript, you'll need to upload those as well. So there'll be two sections in your application, one for the UC transcript and then one for your community college or other transcripts. Some programs also have additional application materials that are required, such as proof of meeting the language requirements, a statement of purpose, or a course preference form. Each program has its own application instructions that you can access now through the application portal, which is the UCEAP portal. So if you were to click on the Apply Now button in the top right-hand corner of our website or the Login button, it'll take you to the UCEAP portal. and you can look at the documents that are required for a program that you're interested in. And then, so this is an example of what you'll see in the application and the requirements. So we're using the Human Rights and Cultural Memory program that goes to Argentina and Chile. So you'll find detailed application instructions, requirements, and advisories for the program you're applying to in the first tab of the application. What the first tab kind of looks like. And make sure to read everything in this section before moving on to complete the rest of the application. Like I said, you can make it a portal account now, and you can see these application instructions and requirements now before applications open.
So as Sam mentioned, you are required to upload an unofficial UC transcript to your UCEAP application. And in order to find your unofficial transcript, you need to visit your UC registrar's website. At some UCs, you can request an unofficial transcript. At others, you can download a PDF of your student record or academic summary. And regardless of how you obtain your unofficial transcript, just be sure that it includes your full name, UC campus, cumulative UC GPA, and your most recent grades before you upload it to your application. A note for UC Irvine and Merced students, sometimes the UCI and UCM registrars don't include your UC campus name on your unofficial transcript. Just make sure that when you save the PDF or save the document to PDF, the name of your school or the URL in which the PDF is coming from and your name are visible somewhere on your transcript. For Irvine students, you can view your transcript in Student Access and click on Printer Friendly to view or print your transcript with your name on it. And some more important notes about a non-official transcript. So please make sure that you upload your transcript as a PDF, as it's the easiest way for UCEAP staff to view your document. In most cases, a screenshot of your grades or academic summary is not acceptable. So just make sure it's a PDF. Sometimes students look up the wrong document and end up submitting a degree audit report or an academic progress report instead of a transcript. These documents might show you your progress towards degree requirements, but they are not the same as a transcript, and UCEAP cannot accept them, and we will not use them in order to determine your eligibility. So just make sure that what you're actually uploading is an unofficial UC transcript. And UCEAP needs your full transcript in one continuous document, not just the first page and not in multiple separate uploads. A lot of times students will just screenshot all the parts of their transcript and upload that. That's not acceptable. Just make sure it's one full document in PDF format that you upload. And then please also make sure that your application, oh, sorry, backtracking. Very important. If your application is submitted on time, but it is incomplete, so if you uploaded a screenshot of your transcript instead of the full unofficial transcript, for example, it may be passed over in favor of complete applications. So just make sure that you have everything correct before you submit your application, and verify that the documents you are uploading are complete and correct.
Yes. And now on to some passport info. So UCEAP applicants are not required to have a passport at their time of their application. However, if you don't have a valid passport now, you should apply for one ASAP, or get on the renewal process if your passport is due back to expire. Typically, your passport needs to be valid for at least 6 months after the end of your program. So if you need to, again, renew your passport, get started on that as soon as you can. Again, most programs have that 6-month requirement. Some programs have more or less. So it's always better to err on the side of caution and just renew your passport if you're worried about that it won't meet those requirements. If you're applying to a program right before the application deadline and you don't have a valid passport, check in with the program specialist for that program to confirm you'll still be on track to participate in the program. The program might have passport advisory that you can view on the application requirements in the UCEAP portal. So if you are wondering if the program you're applying for has specific instructions about passports or needing passport info by a certain date, you can go into the UCEAP portal now and look up the program and the instructions for that. And now onto the application process. So once you select a program and you've confirmed that you meet all eligibility requirements, you've looked through all the other stuff, you have your transcripts ready. Look up the application open dates and deadlines so that you know when you need to apply for the program. Keep in mind that the application deadlines can be as early as 9 months before the program starts, and students generally need to complete 3 different applications. One is the UCEAP application, one is a campus application for your UC campus, and one is a host institution application. After you get approved for participation by both your campus and UCEAP, you'll receive instructions for completing the host institution application, along with other program details such as housing, visa requirements, and program dates. And this is a visual, a brief overview of how your application will move through the UCEAP system. So once you've submitted your application, it will be in review, and your campus and UCEAP staff will then review and approve your application. After you've been approved by both campus and UCEAP, you will become nominated. And depending on the program, like I mentioned, your application will then need to be reviewed by the third-party provider or the host university or institution for your program. A second application might be required at this time or during this step. And if another application is required, UCEAP staff will provide detailed instructions on how to apply and what documents you might need for that. After the third party or host university has reviewed your application, you are then officially accepted into the program. It's very rare at this stage that a UCEAP student is rejected from the third party or host institution. Our UCEAP bases our program eligibility off of what the host requires. So as long as you follow the instructions and submit a complete and correct host institution application by the deadline, you should be officially accepted into the program. Some programs don't require this third-party step or host university step to review your application, in which case you'll just be directly accepted into the program. All right, and so these some application open dates, which I know is a question a lot of students ask. So all UCEAP applications open at 9 a.m. Pacific time on the date that they open. Summer 2026 programs open next week on November 13th, which is a Thursday. Fall and year programs for 2026 to 2027 open November 20th, which is the week after that on a Thursday. And winter quarter and spring 2027 programs open on April 15th next year of 2026. A note that the Chile year-long programs open on April 15th because Chile is in the southern hemisphere and their academic calendar is flipped from us. So their academic calendar runs from January to November. So the year program runs from January to November rather than from, say, September to June. All right, and really quick, we're going to walk through the application deadlines page. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and show you the application deadlines page. Hopefully you guys can all see that now. This is a page on our website that has all the application deadlines for all of our programs. So if you're on the UCEAP website and you go to apply, you click on application deadlines and you'll be directed here. So there's some info about when opens. Applications open at 9 a.m., stuff about graduate students. There's an application tutorial that you can watch. It's a YouTube video, which we also have linked in this presentation, and more info about meeting eligibility or criteria. And if you scroll down here, when you open any of these accordions, you'll find all the programs listed out by country in alphabetical order, and you'll see the application open date, the deadline, and the withdrawal deadline. So the withdrawal deadline is if you decide to withdraw from the program, if it's not a good fit for you anymore, this is the deadline to withdraw without incurring the UCEAP withdrawal fee, which is $500. So for example, if you're interested in the Brazilian seminars program for the summer, you can apply as early as the 13th, which is next Thursday. The deadline is February 19th. And then if you decide to withdraw from the program, if you withdraw before May 1st, then you won't incur the UCEAP $500 withdrawal fee. So same thing applies to all of the rest of these programs here. So you can look at summer programs, fall, year, etc. All right, let me go back to the presentation.
Okay, so if you're confused about an application or your eligibility, here is who to contact. You can contact UCEAP staff for any UCEAP specific application questions like language, GPA, or major eligibility, and any course prerequisites. Also contact UCEAP staff for any UCEAP application portal IT issues, and you can contact your campus study abroad office with questions about UC campus requirements, UC campus portal and systems, and your academic planning form if it's a part of your campus application. And the next slide will show you where you can find contact information. Okay, so you can find contact information for both UCEAP and UC campus staff on the About UCEAP page under the Discover tab at the top left of the page. So we have a little screenshot here where you can see what that looks like. And make sure that you click on UCEAP contacts or UC campus contacts to find the email address of the staff you wish to speak with. You can also find contact information for the UCAP staff that work with a specific program on the Contacts tab of any program page. So you'll need to navigate to the program you're interested in and click on the Contacts tab at the bottom of the program details list to see the Study Abroad Advisor, Academic Specialist, Program Specialist, and Finance Accountant for that program. If you don't know who to contact for your specific question, you can always email the UCAP Study Abroad Advisor for the program that you're interested in, and they can either answer your question or redirect you to someone who can. And here are some frequently asked questions that we receive. When will I hear back about my application? So UCAP tries to notify students within a month of their application submission. So just make sure that you keep an eye on your email in case your application was incomplete and you need to correct something. That's how we're going to reach out to you through the email that you enter in your UCAP application. So sometimes our emails might end up in the spam or junk folder. So just make sure you check your inbox and your spam and junk folders too, just in case any communication from us goes there. What if I change my mind after I submit my application? If you change your mind after you submit an application, contact your UCEAP Study Abroad Advisor and Program Specialist to discuss withdrawing your application or transferring your application to a different program. Please keep in mind that UCEAP staff can only transfer applications to programs that are still accepting applications. So if the program deadline has already passed or the application deadline for a program has already passed, it's not likely that we would be able to transfer your application to that program. If the program you wish to transfer has already filled, then we can also not transfer your application to that program. But just reach out to the study abroad advisor and program specialist to ask, and they will further guide you. Next question, can I apply to multiple programs? So students are only allowed to apply to one program per term. So just make sure you do your research to find the program that best fits your study abroad goals. And can I apply to programs in back-to-back terms? Make sure that you check with the program specialist if you are interested in participating in back-to-back programs. The logistics of this depend on the two programs you are interested in and cannot always be accommodated. Lastly, does UCEAP have an application fee? UCEAP does not have an application fee. However, some campuses may have a fee associated with applying to study abroad. And on this slide, you can see a YouTube video that walks you through the UCEAP application. We're going to link the video in the chat, but you can also look it up on our YouTube channel.
All right, and that's the end of our presentation. I hope it was helpful and gives you a good starting point on your study abroad journey. You can scan this QR code for more information, and you should also visit your campus study abroad office, their website, or the How to Apply section on any program page on the UCEAP website for more information on application steps and deadlines. Also, we went over all the contact information, so you can also use those tools to contact anyone on UCEAP staff, or your campus study abroad office staff. We also offer a lot of virtual advising for students. You can schedule a one-on-one appointment with a study abroad advisor, or you can come to drop-in hours. We have a lot of drop-in hours throughout the week Some are happening right now, and you can kind of just log in, come for a few minutes, ask a quick question, and then leave. So you're not required to stay for the full hour. And once you've determined which program you want to apply to, you can start the application by selecting the Apply Now button on the UCEAP website in the top right-hand corner. And please feel free to contact us with any questions using the email that's on the slide here, or using that QR code. Yeah, so now we'll open the floor to Q&A if you'd like to post any questions in the chat, or in the Q&A. So there's a question that says, I understand that the UCEAP application takes place on the website, but what about the campus application? Good question. Your campus application should also be online. When you fill out the UCEAP application, there should be a second part, so like maybe a part B or a part 2, that will direct you to your campus applications. Once you submit the UCEAP one, you should be redirected to apply to your campus. So like UCLA students will see the UCLA application linked. UC Santa Cruz students see the Santa Cruz one linked. If you have to withdraw from a program before or after the withdrawal date, would that affect your future eligibility for a study abroad program? No, it does not. If you apply to a program and a month later you realize it's not for you, you can withdraw and you can apply again next year, or for a next term or something like that. It doesn't affect your eligibility for the next program you apply to. Let's see. If I do a fall 2026 study abroad program, will I be back in time for winter quarter? Short answer is yes. So anything that says fall quarter or fall semester, they all should end by sometime like December 31st, and you should be back in time for winter quarter at your home campus. A lot of the rest of the world is on the semester system, and the UC is unique as we're on the quarter system. So a lot of programs are on our semester, which means that if you're used to a quarter program, like a fall quarter, the fall semester will be a bit longer than maybe what you're used to. And then any spring semester program will most likely cover both winter quarter and spring quarter. So you'll be missing both of those quarters if you do a spring semester study abroad program.
And just a quick note, that doesn't apply to Germany. So the immersion semester program for Germany ends at the end of the winter quarter.
Great. Can you do 2 programs within the same country? So like one program in the fall and then one in the spring, 2 different programs with the same country. It depends. So most of that depends on the visa process for the country that you're applying to. For Italy, I would reach out to Wendy. She's the program specialist for most of the Italy programs, and she's really knowledgeable about the visa process for Italy. But reach out to the program specialist if you have 2 programs that are going back to back that you want to think about applying to. I'm really excited that you want to go for the full year. I think that sounds really fun, but also the logistics of planning that might be a bit more complicated than what we think they are. So always check in beforehand to make sure that we can get you prepped and ready to do 2 programs. If you're a first-year transfer student and don't have any grades on your unofficial transcript, do you still need to provide your UC unofficial transcript and community college transcript? Yes. So if you are, say, a freshman or a transfer student and your GPA says like 0 for UC because none of your grades from fall have come back yet, still submit your UC transcript. That way we know you have one and you're like a full registered UC student, and then submit any community college transcripts that you have. For any freshmen, if you don't have any community college transcripts and you're only submitting your UC transcript, UCEAP staff will most likely ask for an updated transcript that has your fall grades on it. So if the program you're applying to, if you really want to get ahead and make sure you get a spot in the program, you can definitely apply when applications open in November. But we will ask for an updated transcript later on to make sure you do meet the eligibility requirements. So for some programs, if you'd like to wait until January or late December when your grades have come back and are posted to your transcript, you can then apply there too, so that we can see you have a UC GPA. Will I have to leave mid-winter quarter in order to do a spring semester abroad? Yeah, so that's kind of connected to the other question I was talking about. If you do a spring semester, you'll miss both winter and spring quarter programs, unless it's like what Jocelyn was saying about Germany, where like the spring semester starts after winter quarter is done. So if you do a spring semester and say it starts in February, you won't be starting winter quarter at your campus and then go and study abroad. You'll miss all of winter quarter. So you won't have classes like say in January if your spring semester program starts in February. And last one, I go back to the side with the requirements where it says proof of language and statement of purpose. I think so. Try. Maybe not. That's okay. If you have any questions about the specific requirements, like the specific proof of language requirement for a program you're interested in, feel free to just email us so that we can give you the direct information that you need about the program you're applying to. Most programs at UCEAP are all taught in English, so there's like a few programs that do require a language requirement, but you can also find that info on our website or when you log into the UCEAP portal.
Yeah, and just again, another reminder, if you have any questions about a specific program, including whether it requires a host institution application or language prereq or anything like that, just you can reach out to the UCAP Study Abroad Advisor for that program, and they'll be able to help you out. And again, you can find the Study Abroad Advisor contact information on the program page under the Contacts tab.
And that concludes our presentation. Thanks so much for joining. Yeah, have a good rest of your Thursday, everyone.